Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today is Tuesday, and what a wildly chaotic, emotionally exhausting day it has been in the soap world. We are diving deep into the absolute madness coming out of Port Charles right now, and trust me, you are going to want to sit down and grab a massive cup of coffee for this one. Let's get right into the drama. I am literally shaking right now. I cannot believe they actually went there. I am typing this up at 2 a.m. because I just finished watching Tuesday's episode, and my brain is completely short-circuiting. If you haven't seen it yet, brace yourself because the writers are choosing absolute violence this week. I mean, we all knew this was coming, right? We all saw the writing on the wall with these storylines, but actually watching it play out on screen is a totally different visceral experience. I have been watching the show religiously since 2015, and I have seen some truly unhinged cliffhangers, but this takes the cake. I'm talking about Carly, Brennan, and Valentine, obviously. Because what on earth is Carly thinking? So let's just jump right into the deep end. Jack Brennan busting Carly. I literally screamed at my television. Did you really think there weren't going to be any consequences? He gave me actual chills. Jack Brennan is not a man you play games with. And Carly has been playing Russian roulette with this guy for weeks. And for what Valentine Cassadine, I'm sorry, but am I the only one who thinks Carly has completely lost her mind? She's hiding a known fugitive in her attic while actively sleeping with the head of the WSB. Make it make sense. Let's break down the actual scene because the visual details are what really got me fired up. Brennan walks in and the tension in that house is so thick you could cut it with a machete. He looks around and he sees the 2 unfinished glasses of wine. He sees the unfinished meal preparations in the kitchen, and we all know Carly doesn't cook. That was the absolute dead giveaway right there. Carly cooking is like a total eclipse. It just doesn't happen unless something bizarre is going on. But then he walks into the bedroom, and there she is, hiding half naked under the sheets, looking like a deer caught in the headlights. And the absolute kicker, the man's clothing draped over the bench at the foot of the bed. Valentine's clothes, I was hyperventilating. And where is Valentine? He's obviously hiding in the room somewhere. Maybe in the closet, maybe under the bed, I don't know. But the fact that he was literally just in that bed with her seconds before Brennan barged in is giving me a literal ulcer. Because imagine if Brennan actually catches a glimpse of him. Imagine if he realizes that the mystery man Carly is cheating on him with is Valentine Cassadine, the exact fugitive he is hunting down. The explosion would be nuclear. Wait, I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's talk about Carly's history for a second. Remember when she used to pull these kinds of stunts with Franco or Jax or even Sonny back in the day? Yeah, didn't work then either. Carly always thinks she's the smartest person in the room. She always thinks she can outmaneuver these incredibly dangerous, powerful men. But Brennan is different. He's not Sonny. He doesn't have that soft spot that overrides his logic. When Brennan gets mad, he gets cold, calculating, and lethal. And right now, he is beyond mad. He is in a jealous rage, and a jealous Jack Brennan is a terrifying Jack Brennan. And honestly, I kind of feel bad for Brennan. I know. Some people are loving this Carly and Valentine pairing, but personally, I think Brennan actually had real feelings for her. He was smitten. He let his guard down. And Carly completely exploited that. She used him to protect Jason, who is currently rotting in WSB custody, taking the fall for Rocco Falconeri. Which, by the way, is a whole nother mess that we will get to. But Carly's betrayal here is so deep, and Brennan's wrath is going to destroy everything in its path. Jason is sitting in a cell, sacrificing his freedom, and Carly is playing bedroom games. It is so frustrating. Okay, back to the point. Or actually, let's pivot because my heart cannot take the Carly stress anymore. Can we talk about Josslyn and Nathan because I am terrified for her? I have been screaming at Josslyn through the screen for weeks to stop digging. Stop asking questions about Cesar Faison. Stop poking the bear. But no, it's Josslyn Jax, and she has to be the hero. She has to be the smartest girl in the room, just like her mother. She just cannot leave well enough alone. But this time, she has pushed way too far. The scene at her apartment was an absolute masterclass in suspense. Josslyn finally decides to test him. She brings up the 4th of July handcuffs experience with Maxie Jones. If you've been watching for years, you remember that iconic, hilarious moment with the real Nathan West. It was such a specific, intimate, funny memory that only the real Nathan would instantly react to. And Cassius, he completely fumbled it. He acted in a very un-Nathan-like manner. He didn't know how to respond. And you could see the exact second Josslyn's stomach dropped. She knew. She absolutely knew this man was not Nathan West. So she tries to play it cool. She makes an excuse. Oh, I noticed something strange. I'm running late. Gotta go. Classic evasion tactic. but he doesn't let her leave. Cassius grabs her arm, and his entire demeanor shifts. The sweet, understanding Nathan mask completely melts off, and you see the pure, unadulterated Phazon DNA shining through. It's already too late. I can't let you go. He grabbed her. I literally gasped out loud and woke up my dog. And here's the thing that makes it so much worse. Cassius knows she's a WSB agent. Britt warned him. Britt Westbourne, who I love with all my heart, accidentally handed Cassius the loaded gun by telling him Josslyn's secret. And now Cassius is cornered. He knows Josslyn is onto him, he knows she has WSB resources, and he knows that if his cover is blown, Jen Sidwell and Ross Cullum will probably kill him. So what is he going to do to Josslyn? Is he channeling his father? Is Caesar Phazon's evil twin gene fully activating right now? I am so stressed about Josslyn. Remember when she got tangled up with the hook killer? She survived that because Britt saved her. But Britt isn't there to save her this time. Britt is dealing with her own massive nightmare with Cullum. Josslyn is completely on her own in that apartment with a man who is rapidly losing his grip on reality. I know some fans find Josslyn annoying and think she brings this on herself, but you have to admit, she doesn't deserve to be locked in a room with a Phazon spawn who has nothing to lose. Speaking of people who have nothing to lose, let's take a trip over to the gothic nightmare that is Wyndemere. Because Pascal is absolutely losing his mind. I am so sick of Pascal, you guys. He is back at Wyndemere, and he is fully turning his grief over Marco Rios into a murderous obsession with Lucas Jones. Lucas Sweet, innocent Lucas, who is just trying to survive this absolute hellscape of a storyline. Pascal confronts Lucas, telling him he shouldn't be there. And it's like, excuse me, Jen Sidwell. The grieving father literally asked Lucas to stay. But Pascal doesn't care about logic. Pascal is driven by pure unhinged jealousy. He wanted Marco all to himself. It was a completely one-sided obsession. And now that Marco is dead, Pascal needs a scapegoat. And he has decided that Lucas is the enemy. He is literally threatening Lucas's life. He blames Lucas for Marco's death, which is so absurd, I can't even wrap my head around it. But then, the massive wooden doors swing open. Jen Sidwell and Ava Jerome barge in, and the timing could not be more cinematic. Ava, in true Ava fashion, surveys the room with that icy, calculating glare and demands. What's going on here, God? I love Ava. She always knows exactly how to command a room. She lost Kiki, so she knows what grief does to a person. And she is playing such a dangerous game siding with Sidwell right now. But Sidwell says nothing. He just glares at someone. And that silence is infinitely more terrifying than if he had started screaming and throwing things. We have to remember the context here. Cash has already planted the bug in Sidwell's ear that Lucas might have killed Marco out of jealousy. Pascal has been feeding that delusion. So when Sidwell walks in and sees Pascal threatening Lucas, what is going through his head? Does he think Pascal is just a grieving friend protecting Marco's memory? Or does Sidwell, who is a terrifyingly calm and calculating crime lord, see right through Pascal's pathetic jealousy? I am praying to the soap gods that Sidwell realizes Pascal is the actual problem here. Because if Sidwell fully turns his wrath on Lucas, Lucas is not making out of May sweeps alive. Sidwell does not take threats lightly, and right now Wyndemere is a powder keg waiting for a match. Okay, I need a serious palate cleanser after all this dark heavy mob and WSB trauma. Thank God for the Savoy. The Broadway crossover event finally happened, and it was the burst of absolute joy I desperately needed to keep my sanity. Michael James Scott, playing Genie from Aladdin showing up in Port Charles, is the weirdest, most delightful fever dream this show has ever produced, and I am entirely here for it. Curtis Ashford introduces him as the incomparable and extraordinary Michael J. Scott, and the energy in that room was just electric. You look at the front row and everybody is there. Emma, Scorpio Drake, Trina Robinson, Kai Taylor, all standing and cheering. It was so cute seeing Emma glowing like that, especially after Gio surprised her with that New York trip to see the show. And Gio's old friend from Broadway actually took him up on his invitation. I was half expecting Gio to jump up on stage with his violin and start jamming with him. And it wasn't just the teens living their best lives. Lucas was there at a table, which means this Savoy scene obviously happened before the terrifying Wyndemere nightmare with Pascal. Thank goodness for timeline clarity, because I was about to be so confused. And even Harrison Chase and Brooklyn Quartermain were there, seated close to the stage, smiling and applauding, which, by the way, is wild to me, considering Brooklyn is currently harboring the massive, crippling secret that she caused the Route 91 car crash. Like, girl, how are you smiling at a Broadway performance right now? She literally hit the guardrail, caused Jordan and Curtis to crash and drove away because she had been drinking. Tracy is covering for her, but the guilt has to be eating her alive, especially with their foster application for baby Phoebe on the line. Chase is sitting right next to her, completely oblivious to the fact that his wife is a hit-and-run driver. The anxiety I feel just looking at Brooklyn smiling is off the charts. And don't even get me started on Trina and Kai cheering in the front row while secretly knowing that Willow shot Drew Kane. Everyone in this club is hiding a massive life-ruining secret while clapping for the genie from Aladdin. It is peak soap opera camp and I love it. But for just one scene, we got to see everyone happy. We got to see Scott run on stage and give Curtis a huge welcome hug. It was a beautiful, jazzy, musical moment that reminded me why I love the community aspect of this show. Not everything has to be guns and blackmail and Faison twins holding people hostage in apartments. Sometimes you just need a Broadway star singing a jazzy tune in a club to make you forget that the rest of the town is literally burning to the ground. But of course, this is General Hospital. The happiness never lasts. Tomorrow, we have to deal with the fallout of everything. What is Brennan going to do to Carly? Is he going to rip the sheets off the bed and find Valentin cowering in his boxers? Is Cassius going to kidnap Josslyn and lock her in a basement? Is Sidwell going to order Pascal to take out Lucas, or is he going to turn on Pascal? I am so emotionally exhausted, but you better believe I will be glued to my screen tomorrow night with a giant bowl of popcorn. Let me know in the comments if you guys are as stressed as I am, because I seriously need a support group right now. Until next time, stay safe out there, Port Charles fans.